The Zoras and the Gorons have to be the most famous races in the Legend of Zelda series. But what would happen if they would fight each other in a war? This has never happened in any game before, but if it would happen, who would be the winner then? Alright, we are first going to take a look at the Zoras and the Gorons in general to find out in which specific game they are the strongest, so we can compare those two. It would be the most fair at least. The Zoras at their best against the Gorons at their best. Zoras are normally found in or near large bodies of water, but very rarely stray far away from them. An example of this is the Zora's Domain, a large cavernous fountain that is connected to the Zora River, which flows directly to Lake Hylia. This place is in a lot of games their main base. If they would end up in a war, then they would certainly fight from there. Now, Zoras are very good when it comes to naval combat. They're fast swimmers and are completely made for water, of course. However, their army isn't really that good. In a lot of games, they aren't even armed in any way. For example, in Ocarina of Time. There aren't any guards to be found inside Zora's Domain. However, there are two games where they have warriors. In Twilight Princess, Zora guards wear fish-shaped helmets over their faces and carry halberds with them. They are tasked with caring for and patrolling the lake. And in Breath of the Wild, they are doing even better in the combat department. They even have armor on their upper body now. The guards are armed with spears, and there are quite a lot of them. I think this has to be their strongest military force in any game. Besides that, they even fought with Calamity Ganon, since that happened only 100 years ago. And Zoras can live for a much longer time. There's one in Zora's Domain that said he is 130 years old, while still looking young. Says enough, doesn't it? Now for the Gorons. They are a large mountain-dwelling race with sizes ranging from medium, tall, and even gigantic. The largest known Goron in the series is Big Goron, who is roughly about the same height as the peak of Death Mountain. Their durable, round bodies greatly resemble that of stones and boulders, and nearly all Gorons have a hide of rigid stones on their backsides. Combined with their shape, Gorons can also curl themselves into a ball and roll like a boulder, which is also their primary attack against enemies. They possess immense strength, which many are proud of, and many groups of Gorons like to hold competitions that test each other's physical strength and even rolling ability. So clearly they train a lot and are in great shape. Besides that, fighting is a part of their culture, and so they have more than enough combat training. However, one-on-one training and competitions is a bit different than war. Keep that in mind. Now, looking at the games to see in which one they are the strongest, we come back to Breath of the Wild yet again. Sure, in Twilight Princess they are extremely strong as well, but it can be even better. In all the games, their main base is high up, somewhere near a mountaintop, so that stays relatively the same. The guards and warriors in Goron City don't wear a lot of armor, only on their face. But they probably don't need it because of their tough rock-like skin. They're mostly armed with cobble breakers. This is a Goron-made two-handed weapon. It's made from thick, hard metal and has no cutting edge, so it relies on its sheer weight to crush all opponents. Now let's compare the two to see what their strengths and weaknesses are. The Gorons have the advantages of being strong, tough, having a good rolling charge attack, being huge, and their base is in a great location. However, they're slow and big, weigh a ton, and aren't that good when it comes to water. Now the Zora are more agile, use long weapons, are great in water, have ranged weapons, and have strong skills that protects them, as well as armor. However, there's one huge weakness they have, and we have seen this in Twilight Princess: fire attacks. Link gets the Zora armor in that game, which is made of Zora skills. However, wearing the armor makes Link more vulnerable to fire and ice attacks. Now, taking all of this in consideration, who would win the fight? The Zoras fighting from their domain, or the Gorons from their mountain base? Well, let's look at the most important things step by step. Let's start with their command centers. Which of the two is more difficult to take over? Well, this one goes to the Gorons for multiple reasons. Number one, they have the higher ground.
It's over!
Zora army.
I have the high ground!
Fighting uphill is always a disadvantage. Holding high ground offers an elevated vantage point with a wide field of view, enabling surveillance of the surrounding landscape. You can spot the enemy troops early and act quickly. That's already huge. In addition, soldiers fighting uphill will tire more quickly and will move more slowly. And besides that, you can throw all kinds of things downhill. For example, throwing boulders down to crush your enemies. Now the Zora could counter this by using the mountains as cover or to set up an ambush with archers. But there's one thing that stops them from doing this: the extreme heat, which Zoras can't handle at all. If Link goes up the mountain without the right equipment, he bursts into flames. Can you even imagine what would happen if a Zora tried that? This would be a huge problem for the Zora army. They can't go up the mountain without special potions or armor. And since the Gorons have a mountain base with lava and fire in every single game, this is a problem in every single game. So they would have to supply the entire army with anti-fire potions or armor. This takes time, costs money, and is a weakness. If the Gorons cut the supplies off, they can't go up the mountain, period. Making Goron City extremely hard to reach. Now you might say that Zora's domain, because of all the water and the bridges connecting it, would be a great base. And you're right. However, Gorons can survive in that climate at least, and even the water surrounding Zora's domain wouldn't be a problem. Examples of this are seen in Twilight Princess, as demonstrated by both a child Goron in the hot springs and the adult Goron Link frees from the rock in Zora's domain at the bottom of the throne room. Both can breathe underwater, talk, and even move. Of course they would be at a disadvantage, since Zoras are extremely fast in water, but they would at least survive. So naturally, it would be a smart move for the Zoras to try and throw the Gorons off the bridges and into the water. Problem with this is, Gorons weigh a ton. The Zoras wouldn't be strong enough to push or throw them off. While we are on the topic, which of the two armies would be stronger? Well, yet again, I have to give this one to the Gorons. First of all, if they had to hold the line, which essentially means stopping the Zoras from taking more ground, then they would probably win. Like I mentioned before, they are extremely heavy, strong, and wrestling is even part of their culture. So something like that would be easy for them. Only the agile skills of the Zoras could be a problem in this scenario, since they can do all kinds of incredible jumps. But what about their equipment, their armor and weapons? Well, here they both have a good chance. The Zora clearly built their weapons around their physical capabilities. They mostly use spears, which are good lightweight stabbing weapons, and bows. Besides that, they also have a sword and shield, however those are rare. And the Gorons mostly use one skill, their brute force. Their weapon is literally a huge slab of steel. And in a lot of other games, they either use hammers, knuckle dusters, or even their bare hands to beat you up. However, there's one big question that will determine which of the two wins in armed combat: the toughness of Goron skin. The Zora are extremely agile, so they would use this to outmaneuver the Gorons and take them out. And their spears are light, so they can certainly strike fast. However, spears don't do a whole lot of damage because they are light. It could even be that the skin of the Gorons is too strong to get through. If this is the case, then they have no chance. And I think it is, since their skin is often described as stone-like. And the weapons of the Gorons have incredible power and would easily crush a Zora. Other advantages the Gorons have is their rolling and huge Gorons like Big Goron. The rolling is great for a charge, and there is no way you can stop them effectively. And the huge giants will crush any army. Well, a big portion of it at least. Alright, now for their leader. Every army in the world is useless without a commander. Tactic is key. While both leaders are smart and have a lot of experience with combat, the Zora leader even helped with defeating a Lizal foe's army. This also depends on the game, of course, because in Ocarina of Time, Darunia is a way better leader than the king of the Zoras. Now the Zoras clearly win in this category since they've had more actual wars than the Gorons have had. They have always been protectors of certain places, for example the Water Temple in Twilight Princess and Ocarina of Time, and even fought armies, like the war with the Lizal foes I just mentioned. Clearly, they have a lot of experience with that. Like I said, competition fighting and one-on-one fighting is very different from actual warfare. So while it would help Gorons, it doesn't ensure a victory. So taking all of this in consideration, who would be the winner? Well, I would have to say the Gorons. This is because of their insane weight, toughness, rolling capabilities, strength, and size. And also, a beautifully constructed base. Death Mountain has a lot of advantages over Zora's domain in almost every game. Sure, the Zora are fast, have more experience with warfare, and have better leadership, but Gorons are extremely tough, and the Zoras are gonna have a hard time even reaching their base. Besides that, in a lot of games, Zoras aren't even armed, and an unarmed Zora versus an unarmed Goron would be an easy fight for the Goron because of his insane strength. But I will let you decide as well. In the upper right corner I will put a poll so you can cast your vote there. Also, this is kind of a new format, so please tell me in the comments what you thought about this video. Did you hate it? Did you love it? Why did you hate it? Why did you love it? And if I know that, then I can make it even better for all of us. Hey everybody, I'm going to PAX West. The event is in Seattle from the 1st to the 4th of September, and I'll be there together with Lockstin. So come say hi. Be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, so you know where I am, or tweet me or send me a message that you want to hang out. Then we can arrange something. Link to the event and my social media are in the description. It's gonna be my first time there and also in America. So I hope to see lots of you and to have a ton of fun. Thanks for watching everybody, I hope you enjoyed. If you want to watch more videos, click the annotations on the screen right now. And I hope that you're gonna have a lovely day on the beach.